Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. Kaiser and I are coming to you today with our views of the big Fox interview last night between Bret Baier and Kamala Harris, which probably did not do her any favors. She refused to answer directly any questions that Bret Baier had and went off on her filibuster word salad, or tried to on several occasions, and my hat goes off to Bret Baier for redirecting or trying to redirect at several occasions her tangent off from what the question was. And, I'll give you a little idea right here. Take a look.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
you
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking
What the hell are you talking about?
You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Interesting at best how she can filibuster through any question asked by her that is not been pre-scripted, and the questions given to her and the answers along with the questions so she can answer. She was very guarded, very angry at times, and off base from what she's used to with these softball interviews by friends that she has at ABC, CBS, and MSNBC, and of course The View, where she even managed to avoid getting into any specifics on those interviews, and they were scripted and edited interviews that helped her with her answers. I think Bret Baier and Fox News did a very good job with the limited time. They showed up late. It came out later on that all during the second half of the scant 20 minutes that they had together, she had staffers going cut, and trying to stop it. So they saw the bleeding, as we did last night. There were several factors that I picked up from it. One was arrogance. The second one was lack of knowledge of what she did or didn't do. And the lies, and the fact that if it was a drinking contest where you took a shot of booze for every time Donald Trump's name was mentioned, we'd all be in rehab today. Because that's where she kept going back to time after time after time again. It was, well, Donald Trump is running. Well, Donald Trump did this, and Donald Trump did that. And for 10 years, Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. And it was a diversion tactic on her part. The anger was evident. I can understand now why she could not hold on to staffers. She has a temper. And I guess that her people that are controlling her were cognizant of that and worried that she would even lose her temper with Bret a little bit more than she did. This is a disingenuous person without the ability to handle herself in a situation with a newscaster, a journalist such as Bret Baier. What will she do sitting down across the table from Putin or Kim Jong-il or Xi Jinping? How will that play out? In the meantime, her counterpart that has done such a great job, and the question about how long did you know that he was slipping mentally. She defended that with, well, he's done the best he can and did a good job, and she's followed him from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, but never answered the fact that we have a cognitively impaired sitting president right now with his hands on the nuclear codes. Didn't defend that in any straightforward method or answer that question. She answered not one of the questions without rhetoric attached to it, and she's memorized all of her talking points and doesn't like and is not comfortable in getting away from those talking points at any given time. How this will settle down, I know all the sycophants that are on the mainstream media are thinking that she did a great job. Of course, they're not going to say any differently because they have to. They've been enlisted as part of her campaign. So what would you expect them to say other than, oh, everything was just hunky-dory? It wasn't, and I think America, on the side that watches Fox, finally got a view of what the real Chameleon Harris is like. And the backpedaling on some of the things that she has been on tape and on film saying, to try to say now, well, I'm reversing all that, I didn't do this, and we have to turn a page. Well, what page are you going to turn, when you've been in that seat for 4 years already? And there was no answer to that. That's when her crew decided to cut it all and get her out of there. And I understand through sources that she left very, very angry.
Radical.
The anger and the frustration showed in her face and in her body language, and how she sat in a defensive mode the entire time she sat across from Brett Baer, who was probably one of the most easygoing guys in the business right there. My hat's off to him. He did a great job. Enough said about that. All of the pundits that are out there today will be picking this thing apart one word at a time all day long on this platform, on Rumble. And I'm sure that mainstream media, if you tune into them, will just be picking it apart to say that how bad Fox was and how great she did and how great she was with all the answers. And this is what you'll get from mainstream media. It's a very, very important election, folks. Make no mistake. We have to vote and vote correctly to save this Constitution and this country from the likes of what's left of this Biden administration that will be continued straight on through, only more socialistic than before if Harris gets elected. That's my opinion, and my opinion alone, based on what I have taken in from Joe and Kamala in the last couple of months. And now he's off to Germany to give his special brand of speech, which we saw yesterday, which is basically incoherent anymore, and he can't even read it correctly from a teleprompter. Unbelievable what we're witnessing right now. Let's get back to the FEMA cleanup that's going on with regard to the Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, and Georgia situation from the storm Helena, and then again in Florida with their latest storm, Milton, and see where we're going with that. There are an awful lot of people that are helping out, and of course donations are pouring in all kinds of goods such as water, clothing, bedding, diapers, baby food, things of that caliber that are needed right now, especially in western North Carolina, where they are still in most cases and in some cases without power and without water, running water. So that's a nasty situation to be in, especially if you have a family. And if you were lucky enough to keep your home, so many homes were lost, floating down the river before your very eyes. And you've all seen the news clips of it. And these people are in dire straits, and anything you can do to help out, if you find a GoFundMe or a depot that you can drop things off at, which are mostly the fire stations and the different churches that have tents set up in their parking lot to drop things off on. Of course, Goodwill and the Red Cross are helping out, and FEMA is on the ground doing what they can do with the resources given them. And if you do run into FEMA people, try to be kind. And I understand the stress and strain that you're going through right now, but it's not their fault. It's the people who are running these organizations, such as Mayorkas and those people, that they're the ones to be angry at. And your state senators that have done nothing in some cases, when they come up for re-election, don't forget, vote them out. If you have a governor that's done a bad job, which I don't see happening here in any of these states, especially Florida, I believe that DeSantis has done a wonderful job down there. And in North Carolina, the governor has been very good about getting aid here and there where it's been sorely needed, and very helpful to the citizen bands that have been going in and out with private helicopters and different airplanes, and in some cases trucks and heavy equipment to clear the roads of debris, to see what the damages of the roads are. In some cases, if you look at places like Chimney Rock, there are entire roadways washed away that you can no longer travel into there, so that requires special equipment to get in and out. The businesses along that creek that ran through there are devastated, gone. Much the same in Irwin, Tennessee, and places like that where they've been hit hard with not only roadways washing away due to the breaching of dams and barriers, but also the cleanup efforts for the wind damage that have been done, and businesses that have been lost and washed away completely in some cases. Have to be cleaned and the debris taken care of, and then roadways need to be rebuilt in some cases that are entirely washed away. I don't know how they're going to do that unless they reroute the road itself. So it's a long-term effort that's going to be taking place in these communities, and whatever help they need, they're going to get. I guess there are already many, many people that have applied for federal help on and things like that will give them some money to get a restart and get back onto a life track that they once had. And can you replace personal artifacts? Can you replace people that are gone? No. And we pray for those families that have suffered those losses. And we pray that they will expedite repairs and get homes, temporary homes for the people that are without one right now. The shelters and the churches and places like that have done a great job in trying to house these people, but see what you can do to help if you have a minute to think about that. we are in a nation full of really, really good people, and people come to the aid of their neighbors when it's necessary. And it's good to see. It's a terrible tragedy that this had to take place like this, but it shows the backbone of the people that are called Americans right here during these terrible times of destruction by nature. But we're going to get through it, and with the help and grace of God, we will get back to normal before too long. It's Thursday here in East Tennessee. Not much going on. We had a cold front move in here in the last 2 mornings have been cold. It got down to 31 degrees here overnight. So winterization is going to be needed sooner rather than later, I believe. However, they're forecasting high 70s for next week, so it's an odd weather pattern that we're experiencing. But for the good of it is we're not getting the precipitation that they were forecasting earlier, and that will help with the reclamation of roads and cleanup efforts that have to be done in these regions. So Kaiser and I told you yesterday he was at the groomers, and he's here with me, but he's sleeping again. And we'll be out and about today around the farm to clean up a little bit of debris that we still have left here, and maybe get out and have a lunch. We'll see how the day goes. But we wish you from the Kaiser Report a very happy Thursday. And if you're making plans for the weekend, I hope they're all good and everything comes out. And if you have an opportunity to stop and reason with yourself about early voting, it's important that you get your vote in where you can. East Tennessee, or rather Tennessee, is open for early voting as of yesterday. Georgia started the day before, and many other states. Check with your state election boards and find out when their early voting starts. And vote early and see what we can do to reclaim the country we once knew and get back on track with getting the economy straightened out, getting the border closed once and for all, and back to normal immigration standards that were set and already on the books as laws that they just waved over in the last 4 years of the Biden administration. And she does not want to own up to that, but she was the person in charge of the border and allowed it to happen, along with a lot of other things that should not have happened, such as the loss of life by letting in the criminal aspect that decided to murder people while they were here seeking asylum. So if you didn't get to see the interview yesterday, both the town hall with Trump and Harris Faulkner and the Bret Baier interview with Kamala Harris last night, go to YouTube here, and there's 50 different versions up there, so you can get to see it in whole or bits and pieces. It was quite amusing to watch somebody show their inadequacies for a job like she did last night, and show the anger and the demeanor that they've been trying to cover up. There was no joy in Kamala Town last night. None. She was angry when she left. She was angry when she got there late. And I don't believe that she was very comfortable through the whole thing. You make the decision when you watch it, but I came away with with a different view of Kamala Harris, one that really makes me now more afraid than ever that people will actually cast a vote for her. But it is what it is. It's election year 2024, and Trump is not a lovable guy, but he's definitely a better choice right now in my book for not worrying so much about our country that I would worry about if the Biden administration would continue in the fashion that it is now. And you can turn the page if you want, but what's on the next page is probably going to be a little bit more socialistic and a little bit more of a turn to communism than you will ever believe. So with that, we're going to tell you, have a great rest of this Thursday, and tune in tomorrow for the Friday Kaiser Report before the weekend. And if you're planning on being away this weekend, be safe and travel well. So with that, from the Kaiser Report here in East Tennessee, we want to tell you, stay strong, stay safe, and stay tuned in to the Kaiser Report. Bye-bye now.